Welcome. In this video, we are going to look at different types of memory available for us to program as well as to store data in an embedded system. As you know, in the previous video, we have started with the elements of embedded system or components of embedded system, and we found that memory is one of the important part of the memory system, right? So for any processor or controller based system, memory is integral part. We need storage for the program or the instructions which we have written. We need storage for values which we might have retrieved using sensors. We may require storage space or memory for processed values or data, and we need to store it for communicating to some other subsystems also, right? All these functionalities or purpose of embedded system also we have seen. So for all these purposes we need memory. So when we refer to memory, there are mainly two types of memory: on-chip memory and off-chip memory. What does this on-chip memory means? On-chip memory means memory is within the chip itself. Okay, so the controllers, if they contain built-in memory, then we call it as on-chip memory. But there are instances where the controller do not contain any memory inside the chip. In such cases, you will have to connect external memory, and such a system is known as off-chip memory. So if you want to store the control algorithm, you have to provide an external memory for such controllers. Then we call that such memories as off-chip memory. So these are the main two categories: on-chip memory and off-chip memory. Of the late, most of the system comes with on-chip memory, so we should not worry too much about off-chip memories. But on-chip memories, there are instances where on-chip memory will not be enough for storing the program or data, whichever architecture it is, Harvard architecture or von Neumann architecture. Your program memory may not be enough. In case of Harvard architecture, the shared memory may not be enough for storing the data. In that case, we have to go for off-chip memory. Right? So further, the memory is divided into two. This program storage memory, or we call it as read-only memory, then read-write memory or random access memory. So the program storage memory or code storage memory of an embedded system stores program instructions, and it is basically classified into different types like masked ROM, okay, programmable read-only memory, erasable programmable read-only memory, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, and flash memory. When it comes to random access memory or read-write memory, it is also known as read-write, because the first one is program storage memory, or which is read-only memory. We have discussed this regarding while discussing the architecture, right? Program memories should be read-only memory. You should not go and interrupt or change the instructions within that memory. Okay, so read-write memory are basically static RAM, dynamic RAM, okay, and non-volatile RAM, NVRAM. So the code memory retains its contents even after the power to it is turned off. That's why it is generally known as non-volatile storage memory. This is very important to remember. Okay, they are non-volatile memory. Even though the power supply to the memory is off, these kind of memory store the information. So your hard disk, the hard disk of your laptop is a very good example of program storage memory or read-only memory. Even though the power, you switch off your laptop, all the informations which is required is stored in the hard disk, right? So this is a good example of program storage memory. So this indirectly tells you that read-write memory or random access memory is not a, or is a volatile memory. That means it needs continuous power supply to store the information. If the power supply cuts, if the power supply is off, the information stored is lost. So in program storage memory, the first generation of memory is masked read-only memory. It was a static memory which comes programmed into an integrated circuit by its manufacturer. So if you have an embedded system with a masked read-only memory, the entire program will be already stored in that chip by its manufacturer. You cannot alter it. So basically masked ROM is one of the earlier technology, so it is going to use hardwired technology for storing the data. Okay, so it is basically what we say, a good candidate for storing the embedded firmware for low cost embedded devices. And initial days, the main advantage of masked ROM was low cost memory for high volume production. If you are producing more and more masked ROM, then you can have a lot of storage memory with low cost. So if you go for mass productions like 1000, 10,000 lakhs of memory chips, then manufacturing masked ROM is cheaper. Now the process of masking the memory or the process of making this memory chip is not very important for you to understand, but still I will just throw a light on it. So basically this memory storage, you know that the memories usually store the data using digital, that is binary values, right, 1 and zeros. So basically all the memories are make and break. A make operation will have 1 as the value and a break operation will have a 0 as the value. So in masked ROM, what we are going to do is we are going to create an enhancement mode or depletion mode transistor, okay, through channel implanting. So you have to understand that a masked ROM is basically hardwired using transistor. So I am going to create memory cell using a standard transistor or a threshold transistor. Okay, so basically the supply voltage required to turn on this kind of transistor, if I am using a threshold transistor, the supply voltage required to turn on the transistor will be above the normal ROM IC voltage, operating voltage. Why that is done? Because it will ensure that transistor is always off and memory cell stores always logic 0. If the transistor is off, what is the meaning? It is storing a value 0. If the transistor is on, what is the meaning? It is going to store a logic high. That's it. So you have to just understand, the moment you hear about masked ROM, okay, which is a very earlier stage of memory, first generation of memory I can call it, is using transistor to store the information. How it stores? If the transistor is on, I consider it as binary high, and if the transistor is off, I consider it as binary low or logic 0. So there will be a lot of limitation with this. If you know the operation of transistor, operating region of transistor, you know that this particular memory cell can give you a lot of disadvantages. So obviously the first disadvantage is it cannot be modified. Once you have programmed it, okay, this memory cell programmed with on and off of transistor, you cannot basically modify the device software. So mainly such kind of memories are used in network operating systems, server operating systems, okay, laser printers. In laser printers you have to store the font, right? So for the such purposes, and in electronic musical instruments sound data, you have that different data to be stored, right? Like this is jazz, this is treble, that is bass, kind of. Okay, you have different buttons for all that. So such informations can be stored in masked ROM. Okay, for custom sound you will be using some other memory. Okay, custom, your user made, but manufacturer made sound are fixed, settings are fixed. For such things you can use masked ROM. I hope masked ROM is clear to you. Going to next variation, which is nothing but programmable read-only memory. So unlike masked ROM memory, programmable, like PROM we call it, is not pre-programmed by the manufacturer. Very important. The end user, whoever is using the embedded system, is responsible for programming these devices. So you may require a programmer, as you can see in the background of my slide, you may require a programmer which programs my programmable read-only memory. So since I can program, the user can, since user can program this by using a suitable programmer, it will find different or several applications. Okay, your video game consoles, RFID tags, lot of medical devices, consumer electronics, cell phones, all these will have such kind of memory, that is programmable read-only memory. That doesn't mean that you can go on changing the program. It is still read-only memory. Please remember that. It is one-time programmable memory. But who is responsible for programming? Not manufacturer. The user is responsible for programming. So if you don't like to program, you can ask the manufacturer to program it. No worries. But the manufacturer will give you option. If you are a good programmer, you can have your own programs running in the application using this memory. So if you go into the hardware structure, basically how it is programmed is these particular memory cells, or these memory cells are made up of polysilicon wires or nichrome wires. Okay, they will be arranged in a matrix. So these wires can be viewed as fuses. You blow the fuse, it is 0, and if you have a connection with the fuse, then it is 1, logic 1. So how it is programmed? It is programmed basically by selectively burning polysilicon wires. So if you don't burn, it will give you a logic high. If you burn it, it will give you a logic 0. So I'm not going in detail with it, okay. As per your course, details are not required, but I'm just trying to make you understand, okay, how it is hardware basically. What is the hardware inside? In the previous case, in a masked ROM, transistor is going to act as the memory cell, and in programmable ROM, it is basically polysilicon wires or nichrome wires, just a wire arranged in the form of a matrix, acting as a memory storage. Nice. So the next variation is erasable programmable read-only memory. It is erasable. Again, you have to understand that it's a version of read-only memory. So you don't have that full freedom of erasing and programming it how many times you want. Okay. So basically most of the applications will be read-only. Okay, but provision is given for erasing memory and reprogramming it. So this gives you some flexibility. So erasable PROM gives flexibility to reprogram the same chip. It is reprogrammable because here the memory cell is basically made up of floating gate FET. Okay, it is made up of floating gate FET. So you can basically change the bit information just by charging this floating gate field effect transistor. So the chip made up of, or a chip made as erasable PROM will have a quartz crystal window. So as you can see here in my slide, background of my slide, so this is the erasable PROM chip. So here you have a quartz crystal window where my chip is directly seen from here, right? So you can use make use of this quartz crystal window for erasing the stored information. But erasing this information or restoring the information is not an easy process. You might have understood just by now. So because this require a particular programmer machine. You have to remove the chip from whatever the embedded system you have, remove the memory chip from that, take it to the programmer, okay, then subject it to some light beams. Optically you can do it, that's why you have this crystal window there. Optically you charge the floating gate of FETs, and that is how the process is. So it needs to be taken out of the circuit board, okay, and you have to go for ultraviolet eraser devices, and you have to put it there for 20 to 30 minutes. So it's not very recommendable because your embedded system application will be maybe critical. So every time you cannot remove the chip from the system, keep it in some programmer for 20-30 minutes, okay, take all the precautions of ultraviolet rays. So it is not that easy. So we say that it is a tedious and time consuming process considering the application. 20 to 30 minutes is not a great deal if you look into in the real time systems, right, in our real time life. But considering the application of an embedded system, I say that it is very time consuming process. That's why they have developed the next type of PROM. It's known as more advanced electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So as the name indicates, the information contained in EEPROM memory can be altered using electrical signal at register level or byte level. So they can be programmed or erased in the circuit itself. So there is no need of removing the memory chip from your embedded system circuit, keep it separate. So I say there is no time consuming process here or a tedious process here. So these chips, okay, basically these EEPROMs will come up with erase mode and programming mode, and it will hardly take few milliseconds for erasing the data and same few milliseconds for reprogramming. So since we have this, okay, the time consumes, see that now the previous one was taking 20 to 30 minutes and we are talking about erasing a memory in milliseconds. Now you know why EEPROMs are time consuming and electrical EEPROMs are perfect. So within few milliseconds, okay, I can have the flexibility of a different system design, is it not? But the only limitation here is their capacity is limited when it is compared to other standard ROMs, because here the capacity of an electrically erasable PROM will be usually in kilobytes, few kilobytes. Okay, so the main application of an electrically EEPROM is it is used for storing computer BIOS, basic input output systems of your computer. Okay, whenever you are booting your system, all the required informations will be stored in electrically EEPROM. Always remember that. And coming to the last variant of read-only memory, that is flash memory. So I can say that it is an enhanced version of EEPROM, that is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. It is advanced version of that. I can say that flash is the latest ROM technology and it is very popular ROM technology used in today's embedded systems. Why it is so popular? Because it combines the reprogrammability of EEPROM and high capacity of standard ROMs. Because EEPROMs is having a very few kilobytes of storage capacity, right? But the standard ROMs can have very high capacity. I don't want to mention it in how many bytes, because day to day the maximum memory size keep updating. You know that. We usually say in gigabyte. We started with kilobytes, right? Then megabytes. Then when we went to gigabytes, terabytes. So it goes on. So you understand that standard ROMs can have a very high capacity. So if I have the reprogrammability of EEPROM and capacity of a standard ROM, then that memory is going to be a great memory, is it not? So in flash memory, what you need to understand is there is no concept of memory cells. Whatever memory we have discussed so far has these memory cells, matrix cells. It means small packets of information stored. But when you come to flash memory, they are organized as pages. We say memory pages. In computer organization subject, you might have studied about what are memory pages. So please try to remember that. So here the memory are long sectors or pages. So it will be here also the technology used is MOSFET. Okay, so you have this metal oxide field effect transistors used as bit information storage devices, and I will have an array of these floating gate transistors. Okay, but arranged in form of blocks or pages. The advantage here is, since the memory is pages, the advantage is the erasing of the memory can be done at the sector level, page level. There is no requirement, or it's not required for me to erase the entire memory at a time. I can erase page wise. In the sense, you have a pen drive with you, okay? So you store some information in your pen drive. It is not required to clear all the informations in the pen drive at a time. Erasing pen drive doesn't mean I'm clearing all the informations in the pen drive at a time. Is it not? So I can erase folder wise, file wise. So that is basically I am going to erase the data page wise when it comes to hardware structure. And typical erasable capacity of flash is 1000 cycles. But we know that the modern flash memories have capacity much more than that. So nowadays we have seen that EEPROMs are used for storing BIOS of a desktop PC, but nowadays, or your laptop, but nowadays flash memories are also used. So they are known as flash BIOS. And as I already told, they are used in USB flash drives, memory cards, modems. There's so many, lot of applications. Okay, and nowadays you have this flash memory with endurance of 100,000 cycles also. That's what I told. So typical is 1000 cycles as per old information, whatever we have in the textbooks. But the modern flash memories have endurance of 100,000 cycles. So in today's video, we have discussed about memory used in embedded system. As we discussed, memory is an important part of controller used in embedded systems, and memory can be on-chip memory or off-chip memory, right? And these off-chip memories were divided into different types like masked ROM, programmable ROM, erasable programmable ROM, electrically erasable programmable ROM, and finally flash memory. So in the next video, we will try to understand what are read-write memory and what are different types of such memory available for embedded systems. Thank you.